How's it going, guys? I am back again in the How to Get into Yale series, and in this part we are going to be talking about my stats again and the stats that you need to get into a top college, but we are also going to be delving more into the test aspect of that. So I think this one is going to be a bit quicker, but without further ado, let me go and talk about my test scores a bit. In terms of my scores, for the SAT, I scored in the 99th percentile, but I'm not going to tell my exact score because people literally compare scores by the point. So let's just say that I was in between the 1450 and the 1600 range. For the ACT, I did not take the ACT. For my AP exams, I only submitted the 4 AP exams I took my junior year. That was AP Language and Composition, AP Calculus AB, AP Chemistry, and AP US History. And once again, I'm not going to go super specific or exactly what I got for all those exams, but let's just say that I passed the exams, but I didn't necessarily get any 5s on them. Let me just say that it was enough to get the AP Scholar Award. And for the SAT 2, I didn't submit them. I took them, but they were completely awful, so I didn't submit them at all. My admissions officer actually asked me to send them in because I put them on the Common App, but I was like, nah. So I didn't submit them, so I only submitted my SAT, my AP exams, and yeah, that's pretty much it for like testing that I submitted. And I'm so sorry, but I probably should have said this before, but logistically speaking, when I was applying, the SAT with the essay is required for Yale. I honestly forgot what my essay was. I don't think that the essay is like too important for the SAT. SAT with essay is required, but the SAT 2s are encouraged, but they are optional. As well as for the AP exams. That being said, don't stress too much about AP exams or SAT 2s because they are completely optional. I got into Yale without getting 5s on like the AP exams, or even without like, you know, submitting my SAT 2 or even taking the ACT. Test scores are definitely overrated. They matter, but they're definitely too overhyped and too overrated for their own good. As for the SAT, it's good to be in the range that I stated, like 1400 to 1600-ish, but then again, everything is compared to your school. Personally for me, I stated in the Common App that the average SAT score for my school was pretty low, so that definitely helped me look even better relative to the class, which is something that I mentioned before in the previous video. So for example, a kid who got a 1500 on the SAT, where the average score in their school is like a 1500, won't look as appealing to a kid who got a 1300 on the SAT, whose average score in the school is like a 800. I kind of exaggerated that, but you can kind of see where I'm going with this. And just keep in mind that the college admission officers are really human, and they realize that the SAT and all those tests are literally just a 3-4 hour test you take on some random ass weekend where you don't want to go, and they are really minuscule compared to all of the long-term accomplishments and long-term things that you have been doing over the years, like grades, which are literally 4 years of your development, or like extracurriculars, which show your passion and what you're actually interested in. Just try to do well within the context of your situation, and just, you know, take the SAT, but don't be taking it like 5 times, 10 times, you know, because at that point, you know, it's much better to be investing your time in other things like your college essay or any other extracurriculars and time management things, rather than just trying to get, you know, 50 points extra on the SAT, because once you reach like a threshold that is better than your school, and that is like pretty solid, like realistically, like I said, maybe over 1400, you should be good. That being said, I feel like there's so many exceptions. That being said, you don't have to get over a 1400, 1450 to get into Yale. Personally, I know a few people here who have gotten like 1300s and gone to Yale. Granted, they probably do have some other unique factor to them, but that being said, you know, make the most out of your situation. You have other factors that can get into Yale, and Yale and like all those other good colleges, for the most part, are truly a holistic process. They literally look at everything in your application. And personally for Yale, something that I read on the admissions tip website that I was reading on Yale when I was applying, is that they said Yaleys, for the most part, don't really have that one thing that distinguishes them. It's a combination of a bunch of little things in the many different areas that kind of get you there. So for example, you know, you have good grades, and you also have pretty good SAT scores, and you have like, you know, a unique factor about you, or like unique extracurriculars. So everything kind of comes into play during the admissions process. They're not going to solely look at your grades or your test scores or whatever. Just try to craft your application to be this very a solid thing that truly represents you well. So once again, please tell your parents you do not need a perfect SAT score to get into Yale. So many people with 1600s or like 36s in the ACTs and like 10 AP classes, all 5s, you know, so many people get rejected with all those amazing stats. But like, you know, you're your own person. Don't compare yourself to other people with the SAT scores. I've definitely gotten into Yale over some people with like higher SAT scores than me. Once again, to each their own. You don't have to stress too much about these things, but of course, you know, try your best in them and try to make the most out of your situation. So there you have it. The SAT and the ACT and the AP exams and the SAT2 and all of those tests are not truly essential for your admission into a good college. Definitely though, have good scores and don't slack off, and have good scores relative to the context of your environment, but also make sure to mention things like, oh, in my school maybe there wasn't any SAT tutoring, or maybe, you know, I was too busy doing something else. Once again, don't make any excuses, but just realize that everything is placed within the context of your situation. Just at least meet that threshold and have a solid SAT score, have solid grades, so then once you met that threshold, now you can do things like your extracurriculars, your essays, your background, your interview, your recommendations, those things that really help distinguish and help shape your application even further, and ultimately help you get into your dream college. At this point, I'm really just rambling, but if you have any more questions, please comment down below. Please subscribe, like, comment, please comment. You know, I really love questions. I really love, you know, feedback. I really love just like random things. But just please let me know anything. Please don't stress too much about the tests. Don't stress too much about your grades, but actively work hard for them at the same time doing something that you actually love. So thank you for tuning into this video. I'm going to see you in the next one.